Songdreaming came out actually through an invitation. It was an invitation from a film director who was making a British feature film which came into the cinemas in spring of 2023. It was a beautiful film with the great actor Jim Broadbent, the Oscar-winning actor, one of Britain's finest. And the film is all about pilgrimage. And she had heard my last album, was like, I want you to make the music for this film. And it was a bit of a kind of beautiful invitation. You know, I love making music for films, it's songs for films. And here was a film with a subject that was so close to my heart, because pilgrimage making is essential to my practice as like how one finds relationship and learning and healing and all that from nature. So we talked lots about it, and we got the band together and we were like, here's the story, here are some of the scenes we're going to be shooting, go and make. So I started writing for the film. And actually what happened in the end was great, because we created loads of music and loads of sonic ideas that fitted within this film. And they chose some, and we made those songs for the film. But everything that we made that wasn't used for the film, we got to work with, I got to go take as my own. But they were all so much written as part of something that felt really like what I wanted to be saying right now. So it was just a matter of rewriting the words and then readapting the sound worlds and the arrangements, bringing more instruments, beginnings, middles and ends and that sort of thing. And suddenly Songdreaming, not in an easy way, but emerged with much of the heart of it having been conceived out of one big story that we were working towards. So yeah, it was quite a privilege to get to do it, and the film was a great success. It's on Amazon at the moment and being watched and loved by many people, and feel very much that the album is in honour of that inspiration and that invitation. I've done it 4 times now, and every time I'm like, I'm the wrong person for the job. I'm not a songwriter. I can't do this composition thing. And I feel very kind of inadequate. And before I know it, I realize that naturally I just like, oh, this and that. And actually Songdreaming kind of came out many ways, but I realized that of course I'm going to make an album about nature. There's no question about it. It's the most important thing for the rest of my life, about communicating, speaking about the power of nature to inspire, to impress, to renew, and to support, to help us. So how does one tell that? And I didn't go, I want to make an album that's going to have this and this and tell us this, this and this. It was like what came out, and the album I had no control over, really. And I'm sure many artists will say the same thing. It just, what emerges is what emerges. And I think being too didactic of that can be quite destructive and clinical, and maybe not be as truthful or authentic as I think this work needs to be, if it's going to speak to other people, that is. The first song on the album that is ostensibly the kind of single is called Meeting is a Pleasant Place, and it's the song about the album. So the album name, Songdreaming, is call it a neologism. It's an invented word that I've created. I've created it out of this work that I do of how song and the act of singing is such a powerful relationship builder with nature. And it's something I do a lot of, is taking people out into nature, singing with nature, making music, both collectively, how I often say it kind of parts the ground, makes the earth suddenly transparent for us to see deep into our roots and our sense of lineage. And the songs are wonderful because these are ancient ancestral songs. When you sing them, that feeling of connected to all those people behind us who have walked in front of us and created those paths. So Songdreaming is a little bit like a reimagining of what a British song line or Dreamtime is, to borrow from the Australian Aboriginal tradition. And so Meeting as a Pleasant Place kind of is about that. It's an invitation for people to think about how our journey in nature, our time spent, that sense of place, that sense of connection can be so enhanced through song dreaming, through singing. And it's a call to action for people to be at our nature in a way that is so, encouraged with that, sort of, that possibility. Because we think to go out in nature, we have to go cycling or rock climbing, or we have to do some sort of recreation. It's like, no, why can't we be out in nature just in a creative, soulful, deep listening, meditative way? It's about mindfulness, but it's also about being mindful in that to the relationships of species around us that are so aware of our presence, and the ancestors that are so aware of our presence in many ways, and just opening our eyes to that. And we do that through our voices, I think. It's very easy for me to say this because I'm a singer and I can go out and sing. And trust me, I go out there and I feel really I feel that sense of resistance or cynicism. What a load of nonsense. I'm like, yeah, it is a load of nonsense. But it's only a load of nonsense because we have such a huge cultural resistance to that, and that's why I feel in some ways you've got to be really careful not to just kind of step out, go, okay, I'm going to be really spiritual now and sing, because actually that's not always the best way. For me, I position this in this way, and I think it's really important to contextualize it. Why do it? Because if we don't, we have so much to lose. It's an act of resistance. It's also an act of connection and ancient way of us feeling kind of at one with the earth. Actually, for me, it's about protest. It's about reclaiming something that has always been part of us. What I'm suggesting is not something new. And you can see it, as I have seen it, within many other indigenous communities. The act of gratitude, the act of prayer, the act of thanksgiving, of acknowledgement of the sacredness of that river, the power and sacredness of that tree, the richness of this species that we depend on. But we are so separated from nature, both legally and economically and nutritionally separated. We have no idea of our absolute dependence on those 6 inches of soil and a bit of rain to keep us alive 3 times a day, that we've been severed from that act of blessing. And that's what it is. It's a way of saying thank you to this bit of land. Although you didn't grow the very bit of food that I ate this morning, you are part of that bigger system that we are dependent on. And in this country, we have such horrific laws that separate us from being able to get out into nature, where we can go, where we can't go, the small amounts of places we can visit, the absolutely vast number of rivers that we can't swim in or even, get anywhere near, the illegality of being able to spend time in nature in the way that we should be able to, and the appalling ravishing that we're doing of this country, Britain being the most nature depleted country in Europe, second to Ireland, and one of the worst offenders in the world in terms of our rate of nature depletion. It's like, actually, we have to be out there. And yeah, we should go out there and do some casual singing and song dreaming, whatever you want to call it. But I think also we should be out there cutting down fences. No, we should be out there fighting for access, fighting for a different relationship and a different stewardship of the land, because the two go hand in hand. And if you don't have one, you don't have the other. If we can't pray with the land, we can't protect it. That's why I think this work is so important. It's not just whimsical, floaty stuff. It's actually about protection. And that's, I think, what us humans have an absolute divine right and responsibility to be doing right now. Because if we don't, it'll be destroyed, and then we are. It's very simple.